In fact, it is not true that we are victims of circumstances. We always make the final decision for or against something. We can fool many people, we can fool ourselves, but not God. And how much of our energy is wasted defending our own lies? You choose to. This will be the point of result, the point of change, where the balloon of lies will suddenly burst in an instant. A highly conscious soul is not sick unless for some specific reason, because of karmic reparation or because it is important for its mission. It chooses to accept sickness. Why do we need slaps, negative life events? They can be a turning point in our lives and development. Sometimes you need a big slap in the face, otherwise you won't get started. Sometimes the death of a loved one is one of the biggest helps for us, and maybe that was the plan. Conscious souls plan ahead for important events before they come, and the well-timed deaths can sometimes be the biggest help. Let me warmly welcome you to the City of Dawn YouTube channel. My name is Mubati Seeker. I am a medical doctor, healer, writer, and teacher. I am the author of the best-selling Awake Giant, The Dawn of the Soul, which you can purchase on Amazon. This book can be your guide to inner development and self-discovery, helping you become who you truly are. I want to help you discover why you are here, what your unique and personalized mission is here on the planet called Earth, and how to set out with strong determination, courage, and resolve on the path that has been waiting for you for so long. This path was made for you, and no one else can walk it for you. My channel and of course my book will help you with this. Let's start. I am not capable of doing otherwise. How often do we human beings use this sonorous excuse when we want to find some short, simple, plausible explanation to justify ourselves, to make others believe that it is not because we are lazy or neglectful that we are not doing something. This is our explanation. And it will satisfy most people, and they will believe us, maybe even pity us. Oh, really, poor thing. How could he have done it? He can't. You can deceive many people. And you can deceive yourself, but not God. The Mother is telling us the harsh reality. It's because in their hearts they do not want to do otherwise. This is so blatant. If someone were to say this to you, your first reaction would be astonishment that, in a dirty word, the other person didn't eat what you were trying to feed them. That you are not really lazy not to do something, but simply not able to. After you have recovered from your initial shock, you start to defend yourself because you have to use force to defend your position. This smart-ass someone here was able to say that you don't want to. What is he thinking? But I ask the question, who is the liar here? Is he lying to himself? You answer that yourself. How much of our energy is wasted defending our own lies. Deceiving oneself. Who is the liar here? Who is lying here to himself? You answer that yourself. How much of our energy is wasted defending our own lies? Deceiving oneself and others is a fantastically good way to live a lifetime or more, and we can get away with it again and again, and not only not have others find out about our lies, but do it so well that we can even deceive ourselves. That deception becomes so believable that no one will doubt its reality. It will be perfectly obvious to everyone, oh yes, he doesn't know that, he can't do it, poor thing. People will even feel sorry for you, and somebody else will do your job for you. What you should have done, you will pass it on to somebody else because how lucky he is that he can do it. Shall I tell you something? Suddenly a not very nice phrase would come out of my mouth. It would express the best way I feel about this, but I have to refine it, so I just say a big cottage cheese. He's not lucky at all. It's not because he's so incredibly lucky that he can even do that. He just wants to, and therefore he can. Do you want it? The world of lies that we build around ourselves can work brilliantly for a very long time, but, and that's a capital but, just until we have the misfortune to be confronted on the road by someone who sees through us and all our dishonesty, through all the lying little operations of our lives that we have been feeding to everyone around us. And when we start explaining to him at length why we are not capable of this or that, he looks at us with the noblest simplicity, smiles, and tells us with the greatest love, "You could, but you don't really want to. You have chosen this." We will hate that person so much, but he said it with such love that we won't even be able to be angry with him. This will be the turning point, the point of change, where suddenly the balloon of lies will burst in a moment, and our anger will be replaced by astonishment. Who is this person? What is he saying? How dare he? Why is he so simple, and why do I feel love for him? And then something will start to happen. Maybe not immediately. Maybe we will curse this insolent person who has blamed us for what we could do, but we don't want to. For a long time to come, the old us will find and mobilize all the means to push this one sentence out of our minds. You could do it, but you don't want to. But no matter how we build our fortress of lies around us, it's too late. The Trojan horse is already in. The seed of truth has already been sown by this person, and it is only a matter of time before it sprouts, grows stronger, and will continue to grow in us until we have a feeling. Then it will grow stronger, and one day we will wake up and be able to say it in words, "But you were right. I can do it too. I just didn't want to." all these years of deceiving myself, but now I see it all. Now I know I can do it, and I will. I want to. And we realize that the time meeting that person we were so angry with, and thought it was a shame we stumbled upon, and actually one of the most defining encounters of our lives. What we thought at the time was bad luck was the best thing that could have happened to us. Yeah, well. It's not easy to face up to past bad beliefs, but it's all based on honest recognition. Maybe if we destroy all the lies we've told before, we'll have nothing left. But there is something, perhaps most important, a clean slate. We can start to build something wonderful, something fascinating. And we won't miss the old palace of lies. They have accepted to become prisoners of their sins. There is a moment when they consciously choose to do so. We talked about this before. We do the same with sins. You have a weakness, whatever it is. Intemperance, debauchery, pride, lack of empathy. I could list who, what, etc. And for years we cherish this weakness and try to keep it a secret. But if it accidentally comes out, we have to quickly defend it and sadly state, but that's me, I can't resist it, I'm weak. Then again, I say to that, one cottage cheese. You want to be weak. You want to be strong enough to leave your bad habit behind because you would actually miss it. And you are afraid of being empty. Tough words. Who's listening? Do you? Just like Jesus was when he stood up for the truth, only the disciples didn't really like it. It doesn't feel good when someone throws the truth in our faces. For me as a doctor, the following sentence was a huge shock when I first read it. There is also a moment when one accepts illness. What? That we accept the disease? Yes. It is a matter of choice. In medical school, we learned from psychology that there are so-called secondary benefits of illness. And since then, in my years of medical practice, I have experienced this firsthand. How many people actually cover up for illness? How many people benefit from it, either financially or because they get more care from their environment? Have you spent many years searching for the real cause of disease? I realized quite early that an illness can obviously come as a warning to wake us up and make us see that we are going down the wrong path, that we should change but we don't dare. We put it off until our heavenly helper sends us an illness, I might add, to help us make a decision and move out of the situation we are in. I have been approached by many patients over the years for spiritual conversations, as they have sensed in me that I am susceptible to the spiritual background behind the physical manifestation of illness, and this pattern repeats itself over and over again. We're in something. We know it's not good for us. We know we should get out of it, but we can't. I know that the reason behind the we can't is again that we don't really want to. And it's because we're afraid. We are afraid of change, so our minds and our environment come up with 1,001 reasons why we have to stay in the situation we are suffering so much in. Many people stay in it, and some people can only get out of it when they get a disease. Then they have something to blame. I'm changing jobs now because I've gotten sick. I can't do it anymore. I say that if you had been brave enough to change jobs before, the illness would not have helped you to make a decision. Of course, there is always something to blame. How could I change jobs? I can't give up the sure bet for the uncertain. I have to support my family. I have had a few patients to whom I have dared to ask the question, do you think that if you close one door, a new one won't open? You have to close a lot of doors because the new one can open. I know you want to be sure and open the new door first, see how it looks, and if you like it, close the old one later. But that's not how life works. There is progress here. This is evolution in small and big ways. We move forward, not back. At least that's how we should be moving. Progress takes courage. You have to have the courage to say no. To say no to what you see is not good for you. If they see the courageous decision over there, then a new path will emerge, but never before. So it wouldn't always take a disease. It would take courage and faith. Faith that God will be with us. What do you think? That He'll let you starve to death? In a word, illnesses are often our helpers to make decisions. It's also a common case that they are a measure of our ignorance, for if you were aware enough of what was going on in your body, not eating things that were harmful to you, moving enough to give your body what it needs, not burdening yourself with so many little lies that you think won't do much harm, your body would not get sick. Not bordering yourself with so many little lies that you think won't do much harm, your body would not get sick. I will tell you, every little bit of dishonesty leaves a mark. And because you're still ignorant of it, you don't know what it will lead to. A highly conscious soul is not sick, unless for some reason, whether it is karmic reparation or because it is important to its mission. It chooses to accept sickness. It cannot get sick because he does not choose to accept the illness. He knows how his body works and does not do anything that would harm it. So that's it for disease. There is one more interesting situation, which is when our disease develops in order to affect someone else's life. This can also be a kind of karmic agreement between souls, a helping hand from one soul to another, even in the case of the disabled. It may be that the soul takes on the particular life whether it has a physical or mental disability, because it is helping those around it. For example, selfless love, empathy, in practicing the virtue of self-sacrifice. Even a serious illness or death of a loved one can be a key event to push someone to finally start on their path. This was the case with me, and in hindsight I can see what my life was based on, what was connected to what, and what events were necessary to finally give my soul the green light to do what it came to do. One of the big moments in my life, which seemed like a huge slap in the face at the time, was the untimely death of my father. Sometimes you need a big slap like that, otherwise you don't go on your way. Sometimes the death of a loved one is one of the biggest help, and maybe that was the plan all along. Conscious souls plan ahead for important events before they come, and the well-timed death is sometimes the biggest help. At the point when we are hit by such a trauma, it is a two-way street. For me, there were two options: either I fall or rise. Suddenly, the former would have seemed easier, but thankfully, I had the strong supportive backing from over there to choose the later. You might ask, if souls plan so well in advance for these crucial points, how certain is it that they will succeed? I don't have any percentage data on this, but I can tell you that it happens quite often that despite all the prior planning, despite all the celestial help, the force of ignorance prevails and the mission fails. It often happens. It has happened to you, and it has happened to someone else countless times. For me too. What then? Nothing. If you choose desolation and self-destruction, then so be it. That's what you have chosen. If your guardian angel sees that your ego is too strong and you have nothing to go on in this life, then he asks God for permission to make a serious entrance. God will decide how long he will leave you in this self-destructive life, but he may also take you out of the game quickly in the hope of a better opportunity, to give you a new chance in a new body and a new life surrounded by good friends. You set off a new mission after a rest, armed with the many lessons you've learned, confident that this time you will choose to rise rather than fall. But I assure you, it is only natural that you will choose it, because we have already discussed it before. God draws all things to himself. If you choose the ascension, you will experience the following words of the Mother. And suddenly it seems bad to you, because it is time to reject these things, for they do not harmonize with the attitude you have taken or the progress you have made in your march forward in the world. These things should be elsewhere. They are no longer in their place, therefore you find them bad. Everything had its use at some point in our lives. It's inevitable that what was necessary and seemed good at the time no longer fits the person you've become. Now, from your point of view, it is more destructive and has to go and find a place with someone who is now at that level that suits them, but not for you anymore. You have to let go. There are countless examples, but I'll give you a very simple one. There's someone who lived in an indigenous tribe early in life and was a hunter. That was the mission there. He became an excellent hunter and killed many animals so that the tribe would have something to eat. In this present life, he lives in a country called civilized, where he doesn't have to hunt or kill to survive. Suppose this man is already at a very high level. Let's say this is his 800th life on earth, capable of killing, and where he does not consume any animal flesh at all, but it is vegetarian. What was so necessary for him in his old life is now quite alien to him. No, he cannot imagine ending the life of an animal. What was once useful is no longer beneficial. He had to let go. His then self would have been wrong not to kill, and his now self would be wrong to kill. And this is true of all things that once seemed good, but now appear different. So what is good and what is bad? In fact, there are only things. We put a label on them, and the same thing may appear to us with a different label, because we ourselves have changed and evolved. Our perspective has changed. Now we see it from here, then we saw it from there. But many people still see it from there. They say the same thing and they are right. And I say the same thing and I am right. In fact, from your point of view, everyone is right. Even if what he says is ignorant, still for him to be ignorant is the truth. He still has to grow, to become aware, and then his point of view will change. But for now, he has to act as he is. So I would like to end today's session with this thought. Let us take this with us as a guide. You cannot judge. It is impossible for you to say, this is wrong. The most you can say is, this is wrong for me. It has no more room with me. It has to go. That's all. And you send it on its way. I would like to conclude today's video with the wise words of the mother from the book Questions and Answers 1956. I show you the original English book and the Hungarian book also. This is my translation. There is not one human being who has not the energy and capacity or to resist something imposed upon him, if he is left free to do so. People tell you, I can't do otherwise. It is because in the depths of their heart they do not want to do otherwise. They have accepted to be the slaves of their vice. There is a moment when one accepts. And I would go even further. I say there is a moment when one accepts to be ill. If one did not accept to be ill, one would not be ill. From a certain point of view, there is nothing that is totally useless in the world. Only things which were tolerable and admissible at a certain time are no longer so at another. So if things which have no further purpose one says, they are bad, because one tries to find within oneself a lever to push them out, to break with the habit. By the way, right, are you going to say, this is bad? All you can say is, I don't want it any longer. I don't want it. It's not in keeping with my present way of being. I want to go where these things have no place anymore. They are no longer in their place. Let them go and find their place elsewhere. But one cannot judge. It is impossible to say this is bad. At the most one can say this is bad for me. It is no longer in its place with me. It must go. That's all. And one drops it on the way. Let's briefly summarize the most important wise teachings from today's video. In fact, it is not true that we are victims of circumstances. We always make the final decision for or against something. We can fool many people, we can fool ourselves, but not God. And how much of our energy is wasted defending our own lies? You choose to. This will be the point of result, the point of change, where the balloon of lies will suddenly burst in an instant. A highly conscious soul is not sick unless for some specific reason, because of karmic reparation or because it is important for its mission. It chooses to accept sickness. Why do we need slaps, negative life events? They can be a turning point in our lives and development. Sometimes you need a big slap in the face, otherwise you won't get started. Sometimes the death of a loved one is one of the biggest helps for us, and maybe that was the plan. Conscious souls plan ahead for important events before they come, and the well-timed deaths can sometimes be the biggest help. Remember, the city of dawn is you. You who are watching this video and who are thereby being brought into the consciousness of the Divine Mother. Live this in your daily life, and if you feel comfortable here, come back again and again. Be a regular guest here, be a builder, be a resident of the city of dawn. Discover the deeper truths of your life, find your way to yourself and become who you really are. If you would like to join me, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook and TikTok, and feel free to share this video with others. The Mother's books are available to read for free at the link provided in the description, and I welcome any questions you may have via email. You can purchase my book Awake Giant, The Dawn of the Soul on Amazon. You will find the link in the description. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for bringing your hearts and souls. May Mother bless you abundantly on your journey through life. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.